promoted Smalling to deputy superintendent a year ago as a part of a long-range succession plan. Last night, he praised Grootman.
I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our superintendent, Kathy Groutman. Your leadership, vision, and dedication have significantly shaped our district. Your commitment to excellence and your tireless efforts have paved the way for the progress and success we celebrate today.
News 10 NBC on the radio. Weekdays at 5 a.m., noon, 5, 6, and 11 on the WYSL stations.
Mira a la izquierda, mira a la derecha. ¿Qué ves? ¿Dónde estás? In a world that seems to change daily, what will you do next? Welcome to the Next Steps Show with Peter Vasquez, a starting point for discussion y un poco de dirección. Buenas tardes, ladies and gentlemen, amigas y amigos, friends right here in the listening area and beyond. Welcome to the Next Step Show yet again with the conservative Nuyorican, el señor Peter Vasquez. Y of course, tenemos la voz de libertad, because what's a Next Step Show without the voice of liberty, Bob?
Indeed.
You know, somebody suggested yesterday that on my campaign, we should start the Vote for Pedro initiative.
Well, I like that.
I do too. Actually, they suggested that I change my name to Pedro, and I'm like, I kind of like the name my parents gave me, but I do like to vote for Pedro, ladies and gentlemen.
It's important to be who you are.
I agree.
I think everybody should be able to pick their name.
You know what? Right at birth.
Right,
I mean, like, hey.
Exactly. You know, you got that guy there. You know, when you're born, and the gender gets assigned to you. There's a guy standing next to your mom with a clipboard.
Yep.
And he said, "Okay, we're gonna make this one female, even though it's got other equipment." And it doesn't come from God. It comes from the guy with the clipboard.
The name.
No, this is the gender.
Oh, the gender. Yes. Oh, that's right. Yes, it does. It doesn't come
and
from
why
God.
not have the baby pick his or her or its own name? Well, perfect.
Well, if this ERA proposal, right, gets passed and it becomes part of the Constitution, it surely does mean that a newborn will have a right to some of these things that we're talking about right now.
You're absolutely right, and don't call me Shirley.
I will not call you Shirley or Curly, because you have straight hair.
Well, it does get curly when I get really drunk. No, I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, not that we are promoting getting drunk here in the Next Step Show.
Never.
However, I just learned, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're catching us live in the social media, again, I apologize for the technical difficulties from yesterday. You will notice I don't have the curly hair issue. So I guess that means that I can drink, and I won't get drunk because I don't have hair.
I got to think about that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. I promise we have a show more than just talking about curly hair when you're drunk. But, you know, yesterday, Bob, and really this week, we've been talking about things that's happening throughout this country, that's happening here in the States. And sometimes it's hard to kind of grasp, you know, how is it that we can tie somebody like the buffoon in Rochester, or the magician that we have up in Albany, to some of the local stuff that we've got going on, right? We look at Biden, and I mean, he's obviously, I'm sorry, but the guy doesn't have, from what I can see, an inch of passion for American values whatsoever, right? So how does that translate to local, right? Because we've got senators running that are like carbon copies of this buffoon in the White House. And people wonder, well, what do you think? There's a big conspiracy? I don't think there's a big conspiracy.
Well, it's a complicated picture because, first of all, we all know that Biden is non-compos mentis. I mean, the guy is obviously in steep decline. He was never a particularly bright guy, and now that's compounded with. I'm not trying to mock those who have, cognitive issues from advancing age, but that's only enhancing his basically cretin nature. And
Marcus,
he's being propelled by Barack Obama, as we all know, behind the scenes, and Susan Rice and Valerie Jarrett and Ron Klain.
Absolutely.
All the usual, the movers and shakers from the Obama administration. And it's an extreme leftist anti-American agenda. So, and what's going on is the likes of Joe Morelli are just following along in whatever the Democrats, tell people like Joe Morelli and Joe Biden to do. By the way, cut from the same piece of cloth. That's what they do.
Yep.
No independent thought, no courage, no stepping forward to do the right thing.
No, and like Craig said, congressional candidate that's running against Morelli, which he's also a wizard, a magician, right? He also creates his own set of trickery. But when we get back to that, after this call, I do want to point out how it is that this whole thing, because we do have a guy, and I don't think you did any injustice or anything wrong by bringing on what really happened as we get older, right? I mean, that's scientifically proven, so they can't get mad at what's proven. But I want to talk about how this is all absolute power. That's what they're trying to maintain.
Sure, at any cost, even if it means that we propel some doddering old fool out there to make an idiot out of himself and humiliate his family. Maybe they're not even capable of being humiliated. That's a distinct possibility too, because it's all about money and power with them, and they don't care about how the family looks or even each other in most cases.
Yep, and we're going to see how that translates to local. El Señor Marcus Williams, candidate for the 137th Assembly District. This guy is a community leader. We're not going to call him a community organizer. You know why? Because this is the thing. The community organizing job, in my humble opinion, really does pertain to those individuals that we said, hey, we want you in office. We want you to help get us organized. But this guy, Senor Marcus Williams, is a guy who's in the community, and I'll tell you, he is an advocate for you and me. He defines what elected officials should be doing. And Senor Marcus Williams, thank you for calling the Next Step Show, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me?
No, you got the Marcus. You're using that shoe phone again. From Get Smart. Can you talk to us on an actual adult telephone? You got one there?
Can you hear me better now?
That's a little bit better.
That's a little better. Just, stand in a chair so you can talk a little louder.
Not terrific. If you just have a regular little handset.
Go get the wire hanger.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
So Marcus, I appreciate your call, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing well, good brother. I'm glad to hear you guys always chopping it up about the important things that are affecting all of us right here at home on a national scale.
Absolutely. So hey, we're going to jump. I got a question for you that I think is appropriate. I need you to stay in one spot, though, because you're cutting out a little bit. And although I love, ladies and gentlemen, understand that here on the Next Step Show, we bring people on from real life. We don't just bring the Dr. Ben Carsons or the Colonel Wests and all these other great guys, right? Dasami Washington. We don't just bring those on, right? Nick Searcy. We bring on people that are here living exactly what we're living. So I apologize if the connection's a little bad, but that is part of the message that I'm trying to get listeners to understand, Marcus, is that one of the oppressions, right? One of the things that these policies are doing is making it so impossible for regular folks like you and me to participate, to get out to vote. And they say, oh, it's everybody's opportunity, equality, inclusivity, but we're going to make it difficult for you to be able to buy a car, at the least, or even make it out to a studio or have the opportunity to sit in a comfy office. So ladies and gentlemen, bear with us, because these conversations like we had with Abdul Bounds earlier in the week, remember, these are real people trying to make a difference. So Marcus, don't move, but I don't know if you heard my show earlier in the week. I had a gentleman by the name of Abdul Bounds, a gentleman who is from the inner city, born and raised, just like you, broken home, who stated that during the 2020 riots, right? He called them a protest. I guess he's a little bit more politically correct than I can be on that. But those were riots. Anytime you got things blowing up and on fire and you're causing harm, those are riots, right? He said that woke him up to the realities of what's happening in this country and how it is those things that are keeping especially the black and brown communities enslaved. You're in the same neighborhood that he is. You're getting called the bootlicker. It's an okay word, right, Bob?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. You're getting called and Uncle Tom, which Aisha Courage confirmed is a good thing. Can you talk to us about your experiences? You're actually running for office.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you. So, 2 years ago, when I really started to get into politics and understand the difference between the parties and everything, even though my family is in my immediate family that's in Rochester, and I was born into a Democrat household, values that were instilled in me were traditional conservative values from my grandparents.
You know, we're going to go to break right now. Marcus, I don't know if you can still hear us. We're going to go to break right now, and we got to do something about the phone connection because we're hearing about 2 out of every 4 words. So if you can get to a different, use a different phone, but ain't working there, buddy. And we want to hear what you have to say. Peter, take us out.
Absolutely. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got to keep it live. Marcus, we do have to hear you. We're going to try to correct this. If not, we'll work to bring him in. Mira, don't change that dial. Why? Because I am your conservative Nuyorican, and together we've got a lot to say. We'll be right back right here on the WYSL stations.
Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
In the Rochester and Finger Lakes region, one name stands above all others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal company can appraise and advise on purchase and sales decisions, mortgage finance feasibility, estate, matrimonial, partnership buyouts, litigation, and more for any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 40 years ago. All of our highly trained staff members have at least 20 years of experience. All our appraisers are either New York State certified general or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNEMurphy.com.
For the last couple of years, Joe Robach has been telling you about Flower City Collision in Henrietta, saying that it was started by a veteran along with his son, Zach. Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and I am that veteran. I want to thank the WYSL listeners for their support over the last couple of years. During those years, not only have I experienced the gratification of providing you the best repairs and customer service, it has also allowed me the opportunity to see my son develop as a young professional. So remember, Flower City Collision for your collision repair needs. And thank you for supporting our locally owned family business.
Youth for Christ Rochester is growing. With the help from the John R. Wegman Foundation, we're adding Saturday mornings back to basketball, while the Saunders Foundation brings back skills and drills for the spring and summer. Our middle school girls program will be starting in a second school this fall. Watch for a new name change for that program. But we need your help. Make a one-time gift of $300 or a monthly gift of $25 to sponsor a kid for a year. Go to yfcrochester.org/donate.
Now that the good weather's back, you'll want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute or that vacation you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the WYSL stations.
Yes, and Next Steps brought to you proudly by the real estate appraisal firm of Ryan Murphy and Associates. That's RYNNE Murphy. And that's Rochester, Finger Lakes, Western New York. SadwickForCongress.com and Rock Auto Service, 1132 Ridge Road West near Mount Reed. Let's try, see if we get Marcus Williams' phone working here. Marcus, let's give this another whirl. Can you hear us okay?
All right, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Are you on a speakerphone?
I am not on the speakerphone.
No, okay. All right, take it away, Peter.
Absolutely. And Marcus, thank you for continuing to try. Just don't move from that spot, okay, ladies and gentlemen?
Don't move, don't breathe, don't exhale.
Or nothing like that. Actually, you know what? Except for talking, don't even move your lips. Fair?
Fair enough.
Marcus, these guys are messing with me. Come on.
I am. Ladies and gentlemen, as a quick reminder, if you're out and about or you got to walk away from your car, all you got to do is open up one of your social media apps, because I'm on all of them, and you can continue to listen to this show right on Facebook, right on Twitter, and you can hear everything we're talking about. So, Mr. Marcus, we went into break as you were correcting the phone issue. I had talked to you about Abdul Bounds. You said you knew him. I explained a little bit about, what he's dealing with as a black Republican in right here in the city of Rochester, Monroe County. What's been your experiences, sir?
So it's been my experience that a lot of people frown on the Republican Party, but they don't know in this area because it's been run by Democrats for 60 years. And I guess it would be better to say that it's been run into the ground for 60 years. And the sad part is that many people don't realize that they can go out and they can vote Democrat as much as they want, but what ends up happening is they're voting for a new nameplate, but the party still owns the office. So the policies are still being continued that are not good for the community. Now, me being a Republican, I've heard every name and dirty name you can think of being called to myself and about the party. Now, what I explain to them is that you got to understand principles and values that are the core philosophies related to Republicanism, which are faith, family, freedom, and finance. Those are the core principles, and those are all related back to black core family values. And honestly, those are all based in American family values. Those are traditional, all American family values. You want the government to leave you alone and mind its business, stay out of your business. You want to make sure that you can provide for your family and that you can take care of yourself. You want to make sure that you can actually be an active participant in society so you can better the future for your children and the generations to come. These are all.
I'm a little confused. Because remember, I grew up in the same hood that you grew up, that you're in, and I even got a T-shirt that says "Something good came from the hood." But what I've always grown up hearing is that in the city, what it takes is more inclusivity, more equality. That we need more money for education, we need more money for public services, and then I've also heard that. And I hear this recently from elected officials, right? Everything is great in the city. What are you guys talking about? We got growth. As a matter of fact, I just learned, Marcus, that the city council and the mayor are so confident in the fiscal responsibility and the fiscal strength of the city that they're prepared to give an enormous amount of money to do this study for RG&E. So are you telling me that's not the case?
Listen, it's absolutely not the case, and nobody is asking for that ridiculous study except people who are not under stress financially from the burdens of the poor policies and poor regulations that have been put into place here in our city and in our state, unfortunately, by the Democrats. People will say, oh, well, you talk bad about the Democrats. Well, you have to look at who's voting for the legislation that's hurting us. What you're saying is, who's saying those things, right? Let's boil down to the nitty-gritty. Who's saying that? You're being told that by the elected officials, as you said, by the people in these higher places, by many affluent people that don't know what the struggle is on the day-to-day basis, and then they force-feed that in your mouth, in me, and in everybody else in the community, saying, oh, this is what needs to be done to solve the problem that exists, even though we're the ones that created these problems. So what do you call that? Hegelian dialectic?
I call it delusion.
It is delusion, though. You create the problem and then you sell the solution.
So tell me, Marcus. We've got a buffoon in the White House who, if you listen to him, you'd understand he makes no sense. But the policies that he's trying to push and some of this, truly anti-American type of sentiment that we have here locally. In your opinion, how do you think what's happening in the White House How really and why is, in your opinion, is that translating to the state house and even locally to the very, and they're not even Democrats, it's the very progressive city council that you have?
So right now we have a government, and I'd like to say that Biden is the head of it, right? But we know that he's basically about as competent as a 2-year-old in a sandbox with glue sticks, okay? So it's really pretty bad right now. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a push for globalism. We're seeing a push for illegal aliens. And I'd like to point out that our city, in relation to the nation and the federal level, is part of the Cities for Action. Okay, and I encourage any of you guys to go look up what Cities for Action is. It's citiesforaction.us. Okay, and we're one of these cities, and this is basically what their mission is. Cities for Action is a coalition of nearly 180 U.S. mayors. I'm reading this right off their website. Mayors and county executives advocating for pro-immigrant federal policies and launching initiatives, inclusive programs, and policies at local level. All that is to push us out of the equation, to push us out of the consideration. And when I say us, I mean urban dwellers, I mean suburbanites, I mean people in rural areas, anybody that's an American citizen. It's to discount what we need and to remove the focus from us and put it on illegal aliens, because they're deprioritizing us, because they know that we're starting to wise up and we can smell what's going on.
I want to ask you on absolute power, because, you know, we all know absolute power corrupts absolutely, correct? And to me, it seems that a lot of what we're seeing, right, this whole push on, because we know that they can't really use the words inclusive and equality anymore, because, you know, those of us that are like, well, wait a minute, if you're preaching inclusivity, then why are you cutting me out? And now all of a sudden, kind of like when they shifted from pro-abortion to pro-choice, sounds better. They shifted from inclusivity and equality to equity, right? Where they can get people upset and pitted on each other based on the outcome that we each got. Meaning that if I worked hard and now I own a BMW, but you didn't and you're still walking, well, you should be angry at me because the outcome's not the same. To me, that's manipulation to maintain absolute power. But let me read something to you real quick, Marcus, because you are a bit of a history buff, right? Ancient Rome. I'm going to go back that far, right? Because we keep talking. You hear all these progressives talking about democracy and our democratic society, when in reality, we have a representative government, or if you want, a representative democracy. Completely different, but the same. But check this out, because the Roman Empire had something similar. So the Roman Empire, right, it offered a quincentennial case of power leading to corruption. And what I mean by that is that if we look at the Roman Empire when it transitioned from a Roman republic to a Roman empire, that shift centralized power. So it may be different words, but right now it seems to me that this progressive left is trying to shift us from a representative democracy to this full-blown democracy where the loudest voice rules. What say you on that?
Well, first off, I'd like to recognize that we are a republic, not a democracy. We've never been a democracy. That's the greatest lie that's ever been told in our country's history. They try to say it's the same and there are stark differences, but we're not going to dig too deep into that right now, because I want to answer your question. We are a representative republic, but they're trying to push us more and more and more towards unification of rule, and they're taking the power out of the hands of local government. So I'm a small government person. I believe that the majority of the power should be in the individual, and the rest of the power should be on the state level, but it should not be on the federal level the way that it is. What they're trying to do is consolidate the power, because like you said, absolute power corrupts absolutely. They want to control our privacy. They don't want you to have any privacy. They want to control what I eat, what you eat, what everybody eats. That's why they're doing all of these crazy things with the farms right now and the regulations and ridiculous stuff there. There is a massive movement to consolidate power in the hands of those who are in power, many of them elected officials, other of those that are just the wealthy elite. And they want to make it so that you have no power. You have no ability to control your daily life. They want to tell you where to go, how to dress, what to do, where you can eat, where you can travel, and what you're going to do for work if they want you to work at all.
Absolutely. Marcus, I want you to hang on just for a couple seconds. We'll wrap this call up right after break. Is that okay with you?
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, don't go nowhere. No cambie ese dial. You know why? Because you're conservative, Nuyorican, La Voz de Libertad. We are going to get eventually to the bottom as to why is it that so many of us have decided that enough is enough. And I think Marcus, Abdul, and many others that we have on can tell us why. No te vayas, no cambie ese dial, right here in the WYSL stations. We'll be right back.
It's hope so. Relationships they seem from the start. It's hope so. When love is not together from the heart. Check it out.
Welcome, Clarence.
WYSL.
Proud to be your local talk station for great conservative all-American programming.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. We'll see partly sunny, very warm, and noticeably more humid weather this afternoon in the mid-80s. And keep an eye to the sky later today. Could be a couple of thundery downpours later.
Yeah, I did earlier because I was hearing Marcus on it.
For Thursday, a bit cooler in the 70s. Not a washout with a few showers around on Thursday. I'm Rich Canelia, WYSL.
Red Wings Radio.
The Insider Report with Josh Wetzel, brought to you by Monroe County Republicans. Be sure to register and vote and bring friends and family with you to the polls.
The Red Wings took advantage of 5 errors from Worcester on Tuesday night, winning the first game of the series in New England 11-4. The first 7 Wings runs were unearned runs on the night. Jackson Clough gave the Wings their first earned runs with a 3-run homer in the 7th. He also had a double and drove in 4 runs for the Wings, who with the win are now back to 4 games over 500, 30-26 in the season. Spencer Watkins pitched a solid 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs on 5 hits, picking up the win, his second of the season. Wings and Woo Sox again will take one another on Wednesday night. Jackson Rutledge is on the mound for the Red Wings against Grant Gambrell for the Red Sox. This is Josh Wetzel for the WYSL stations.
With critical races on the ballot this year, we have an opportunity to send a message that we want change. Here are 3 things that you can do today to ensure that we are set up for success this fall. Make sure you are registered to vote at your current address. Get out and support our local candidates, and subscribe on our website to receive the latest news this election season. Visit MonroeGOP.com/vote to learn more. Paid for by the Monroe County Republican Committee.
Fill your outside spaces with comfortable, superior quality Amish-built furniture and buildings from Springwater Amish Workshop, featuring wooden outdoor furniture built from premium-grade lumber, double kiln-dried, ready for you to stain, or they can do it for you. They feature a large selection of low-maintenance outdoor poly and hickory pieces as well. Picnic tables, benches, gliders, rockers, porch swings, settees, and more. A gazebo or picnic pavilion adds to summer fun in your yard. And right now, Springwater Amish Workshop has a wonderful selection of styles and sizes. Plus, there are great deals on all of their in-stock gazebos. Their storage buildings come in a variety of styles, sizes, sidings, and colors. Building and gazebo pricing includes free delivery and setup within 40 miles of Springwater to your prepared site. For any structure, you can rent to own with no credit check or finance Foundation Finance Company subject to credit approval, or receive 3% discount when you pay by check. Springwater Amish Workshop, Mill Street, Route 15, Springwater. Shop Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to 3.
Geneseo Hardware and Rental has all your project needs, from inside to outside, underground or in the air. Newly expanded inventory, lawn, garden, paint, home goods, plus a wide range of rental items. Geneseo Hardware offers screen and window repair. Voted best hardware store in Livingston County. Open daily, including Sundays. Geneseo Hardware and Rental, Route 28 next to Wegmans Plaza, just minutes from Kinesis Lake.
It's the 6th annual Batavia Downs Bourbon and Whiskey Fest, presented by Jack Daniels and Old Forester on Saturday, June 8th from 4:30 till 7. Sample great bourbons and whiskeys and check out the Belmont Steaks. Tickets are available now on BataviaConcerts.com. This is a 21-plus event, and limited tickets are available, so don't delay. Be sure to get yours today.
Batavia Downs is more great gaming. Batavia Downs is more, lots more.
Greg Sedgwick y su hijo Zach, dueños de Flower City Collision, han sido anunciantes en WYSL La Voz de Libertad y agradecen a los oyentes por su apoyo. Si tienen un accidente, contacta a Zach en Flower City Collision en Henrietta. Él trabajará con tu compañía de seguros para asegurar una reparación correcta. Visítalos en flowercitycollision.com.
Installing a new air conditioner provides a great return on your investment. Right now, get a Lennox air conditioner installed with no payments and no interest for 12 months, plus up to $1,500 in rebates. Invest in your home. Invest in comfort. Visit isaacheating.com today.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply. Owned and operated gun shop here for your hunting needs. With changes in New York State laws, they'll work with you to fulfill your needs. Open from 10 a.m. Tuesday through Saturday, Avon Gun. East Main Street, next to Tompkins Community Bank.
Peter Vasquez and Next Step Show on the WYSL stations.
Welcome back to the Next Step Show. How about those tunes there, ladies and gentlemen? When this song plays, you know what? Just take a second. Just let it go in your head. Let those rhythms go through and just get that stress out of you. How about that for a little lunchtime counseling session, eh? Ladies and gentlemen, we still have Marcus Williams on the phone. Senor Marcus, are you still there?
I am here.
Woo-hoo! Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Williams, our brother from the hood. Another good thing that came from the hood, ladies and gentlemen.
Assembly 137.
That's it. That's it.
Yep.
So hey, absolute power, equality, inclusivity. You know, we grew up hearing these things all day, all night, being told that, you know, there's only one way to look at things, and that's just one political sided. But my question for you, sir, is that, you know, you win this race, you go into the assembly, but all the odds are against you. How can you overcome that while continuing to represent in an area that is kind of one-sided, although learning with a party that you previously said was broke? Explain to us your plan for all that.
So right now we have two things to look at. I'm going to try to answer all your questions evenly. So the assembly session really is only about 270 days of the year. So it's about 100 days that they're out of session. You know, it's really, really important in getting into the community and telling people what's going on actively, what bills are being worked on, what you're seeing as issues, so they can know what's going on. Unfortunately, we don't have that in representation right now, and that's why I'm running for the 137th Assembly District, which covers most of the city and the whole town of Gates. So I'm going to work towards pushing the envelope as far as actual advocacy and showing people what that looks like. That looks like working on the taxes to lower the taxes, fighting to abolish income tax because you deserve to keep the money that you actually earn, working to make it so that people that are elderly on Social Security don't have to be worried about their property taxes, lower the regulations so that businesses can actually do business in New York State again. Make it so that the schools are not so terrible, and I'm being very generous right there with my language, but improve the quality of schools, improve the level of opportunities in our community, because that's how we can all be successful together. When there is more opportunities for businesses to start up, for kids to be successful, for quality of education, for lower taxes, we can all thrive together. But my goal would be showing people what I'm doing as I'm doing it so that they know how the process works. If they don't know how the bread is made, they won't be able to understand where everything is coming from. So that's what I'm working on doing, showing them what's going on, telling them what's going on so that they can be able to be informed residents and constituents so that they can have a voice and they can say, hey, this is what I would like to see. These are my concerns. And I'd be an ear for them, and they can reach out to me anytime. You guys can reach out to me right now on my website, marcus4rochester.com. My number is on there. My email is on there. Reach out anytime.
Wonderful. Marcus, I have one more question for you, and it might be a little bit self-serving. I have to ask, as a city resident, born and raised, right, because you still live there, and many of you others, how's the county clerk office serving our community?
I don't know that too many people know what the county clerk does, but I would say that the majority of people don't think that the county government is working at all for them. And if you have to deal with the county clerk, the processing time, the fees, and everything that goes along with that, I don't think that people are too satisfied. But I really think that a lot of people don't know what the county clerk does. Maybe it's time that we turn that seat over and we put it back towards a Republican who really cares about the community. I hear that there's this awesome guy, I believe his name is Peter Vasquez, that's running for that seat. Are you familiar with him?
You know what? I know him as your conservative Nuyorican, the noon host here in WYSL. Wait a minute, that's me. Are you a gun owner, sir?
I am firearms owner, yes.
Okay, so have you had to deal with the pistol permit process?
Yeah, it's no bueno.
Okay,
to say the best, yeah.
So when I'm going to follow up, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus, I promise this will be the last question. I know you got big and important things to do than to talking to little old me. But my question to you, sir, is the ability to have a gun. The Second Amendment is guaranteed. And I don't think you would find too many gun owners, although I do believe in constitutional carry, but I don't think you'd find too many gun owners that'll say, okay, we understand there's got to be some checks because some of the things that have been perpetuated because of the policies put in place, especially by these progressives, is driving people, well, mad, right? And a lot of them are picking up guns. And we've talked about that on this show. But my question to you, sir, because you're thriving hard, you're working hard to become a representative of the people in the 137th. You believe in the Second Amendment. But let's say you didn't. I'm going to go hypothetical here. Let's say you grew up and you're like, you know what, I'm sticking with the Democrat mantra. Do you believe that your political ideology should in any way, shape, or form affect the representation, especially in an apolitical office that's in charge of these services? Do you think your political ideology should in any way influence that service for others?
I wouldn't think so. It should be, everybody should get the services that they are deserved and are outlined by the laws and by the Constitution. The Constitution being first and foremost.
I appreciate that, Marcus. I really do. And that's, because you're going in the assembly, you're going to be dealing with policy issues and creating or getting rid of laws, right? And the thing that I want people to understand is this. One, it is the job of all elected officials, regardless of the position you got elected for, to advocate, right? Not to go out and be what's the other word for advocate? The political ones that judges shouldn't be, not advocates. There's another word. Where they're out there activists, right? I don't think political officials should be activists. They should be advocates. And I do believe you're going to do that. And what we're seeing right now at all levels of county government is a political ideology, and state government, a political ideology governing whether or not you should have a right. And I'll give you an example, Marcus. I work in housing, right? Mm-hmm. So explain to me, if this state has been under one-party control for the most part, or at least enough to say, you know what, we're just going to sign this housing bill and relieve the stress. Why isn't that happening?
Because they don't want it to happen, honestly. They're using the money to go to their cousins' projects and their friends' and patrons' bank accounts to offset their business expenses that they're funneling back into their campaigns and other ways. it's really important that we recognize that if people say something out of their mouth, that the policies they are putting forth actually are backing that up. And unfortunately, they can tell you they want to end poverty. They can tell you they want to do something about affordable housing. I'm very big on affordable housing, and I want to get more people into home ownership. But the fact is, the policies that the Democrats are putting forth right now do not actually do that. It's a facade. It's a smokescreen of pretend time.
Political trickery from Hocus Pocus herself and her minions or her apostles as she made that call out. One more time in less than 5 seconds, your website, sir.
Marcus4Rochester.com. That's MARCUS, the number 4. That's the digit 4, Rochester.com.
Have a blessed day, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Marcus Williams. Mira, no te vayas. We'll be right back right here from the Conservative New York and WYSL's Next Step Show.
And it's time for you to call in. How about that? 585-346-3000. We can squeeze in a few calls after the break here before the end of the show on Next Steps.
The rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier.
In the Rochester and Finger Lakes region, one name stands above all others for real estate appraisal and advice.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
This full-service real estate appraisal company can appraise and advise on purchase and sales decisions, mortgage finance feasibility, estate, matrimonial, partnership buyouts, litigation, and more for any type of property, both residential and commercial. Ryan Murphy was founded almost 40 years ago. All of our highly trained staff members have at least 20 years of experience. All our appraisers are either New York State certified general or residential real estate appraisers.
Ryan Murphy and Associates.
Start here. RYNNEMurphy.com.
Hi, my name is Greg Sadwick, and along with my son Zach, we are the owners of Flower City Collision. We've been advertisers on WYSL, the voice of liberty, for the last couple of years. So I want to thank the listeners of WYSL for their patronage, which has allowed us to grow and reinvest in the latest technologies to ensure that your vehicles are repaired to the most current standards, whether conventional or EV. If you're in a collision, reach out to Zach at Flower City Collision in Henrietta, and he'll work with your national insurance company on your local behalf to ensure that your repair gets done right.
Baseball, hot dogs, and the American flag. They're all part of the rich fabric that makes our country great. Show your American spirit by purchasing your flag from the Stars and Stripes flag store today. We're supporting critically needed services for local veterans at the Veterans Outreach Center. Let's show our veterans that we care by placing our nation's symbol on the porch of every house in our community. The Stars and Stripes flag store, 783 South Avenue.
Now that the good weather's back, you'll want to make sure your vehicle is in tip-top shape, whether it's for the daily commute or that vacation you're planning. For quality, affordable vehicle service, rely on Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge Road. Rock Auto has what your car, truck, or SUV needs. Oil change, brake service, suspension, alignments, exhaust, air conditioning, and tires. Check their Google reviews as one of Rochester's best for customer satisfaction. Rock Auto Service, 1132 Westridge, just east of Mount Reed, 434-5010.
Next Steps with Peter Vasquez on the WYSL stations.
Okay, you're on.
Sí, señoras y señores, to conservative New York con un poquito de merengue, right? Because it is noon on a Wednesday, the middle of the week, and hey, listen, shake it out. Yeah, baby. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging with us. 346-3000. I believe we can fit a couple more calls. You heard from it, Senor Marcus Williams, right? Because, see, it's important to understand, as I see it, because the mantra that we hear, a few things. If you're black and brown, you must need government help. Tell me that isn't the most insulting a statement and really just to insinuate it. It kills me, right? Especially from those people that'll say, well, if you're black and brown, you must need help. Oh, and you'll only get the help if you agree with our narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, that's wrong at every single level. And you know what? Listen, this is the deal, because it's so important, right? That we, meaning you and me. Y mira, again, si me están escuchando en español, tienen que saber que ya es tiempo que nosotros, los hispanos, los negros, sí, los blancos, todo. It is time que nosotros take back, that we take back, right, our New York State, our United States of America. And you know, the thing is, Aisha was on a call, I think a show or two ago, and Keith had called in after her and talked about, hey, I'm hearing that she's saying that if you don't fall in line, and the thing is, Keith, you were correct, right? Which is why this progressive left is shifting. They're shifting to this whole push on equality, on equity, because they screwed up.
Ellen.
Like, wait a minute. Right? Wait a minute. If we keep saying inclusivity and we keep saying equality, right, that we're going to have to let some of those people in. So let's measure the outcome and piss off more people so we can continue with this segregation, which is what it is that this progressive left is trying to do. Ellen, thank you so much again for calling the Next Step Show, ma'am.
Great. Good to talk to you guys. Marcus C. Williams, 137th, running for the state assembly. You want to vote for him over Willie Lightfoot. Willie Lightfoot is against Second Amendment. Also, I stood up at a meeting recently, a comprehensive plan meeting, and I said that the whole green energy thing that they're doing out here and solar farms and windmills, that whole plan is for black and brown communities to make money off of others. And also, I told them, black and brown, they know just like we do, to get a job, work hard, make money, and buy your own home. That's the American dream. Everybody deserves that dream. Get out of the trap. That's what I say. It's all a trap.
Absolutely, Ellen. Thank you so much for the call. And see, she said it 100% correct. And you wonder, well, what do you mean it's a trap? Why is it a trap? It doesn't seem like a trap to me. I'm like, well, you know what? Open your eyes. See, my daddy always told me this. My dad said, I do not and I will not ever go and get government help. And I'm like, but Dad, if we're hungry, why wouldn't you? He said this. He said, he who pays owns. Now, mind you, my daddy, see me, Papi, this man was a man who grew up in the mountains of Puerto Rico, right? And had a third grade education. You know why he had a third grade education? Because back in that time, you were a child until you were able to work. Listen, agree or disagree, whatever, that's not the point. The point is this. If a man with a third grade education, right, who traversed from an island out in the middle of the Caribbean to the state of New York, right, the Excelsior state, the ever upward state, realize that gun ownership defines your freedom, right? Because my father ran for office in Puerto Rico way back when, and guess what? That scared the heck out of him. Why? Because even till this day, politics can become, a death sentence. Just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. See, but my daddy understood that home ownership was freedom. My daddy understood that integrity was the only thing that poor folks like me and you, if you happen to be poor, right? Because in today's economy, even if you got $1 million, you're still poor. Right? So all those things. And if a man with a third grade education can understand those values by coming to this country and looking around at some of his peers, at some of his circles and saying, whoa, I ain't falling into that trap. I ain't falling into that trap. I'd rather work 7 jobs, which he did, right, to ensure that me And my 4 older brothers and sisters, yeah, I'm the baby. I love being the baby. But neither here nor there.
Some things never change.
Though, being the baby, Bob, though, well, for those of you people that are out there listening, that's the youngest in the family, tell me, the baby rules. So all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that we need to be astute, because today what's happening right now, and understand it,
Carmen,
we're seeing is a push for absolute power. And it isn't Democrat, it isn't Republican. They're using the Democrat platform. They've removed God out of the Democrat platform so that they can sit there and bamboozle you with magic tricks so that they can maintain absolute power through segregation, through aggravation. And you know what we need to do? Well, just like Frederick Douglass said, agitate, agitate, agitate. Carmen, thank you for calling the Next Step Show, sir.
Oh my gosh, Peter. It's so freaking hot today. You know where I can get some free ice cream?
It's hot because you saw my video and you're like, whoa, this guy is making it extra hot today.
No, seriously, I can use some free ice cream. Where can I get some free ice cream?
You can get free ice cream today. Today at 5:30, right over at the Veterans, the Veterans Memorial Pavilion, located in the town of Penfield at 3100 Atlantic Avenue. And check it out, ladies and gentlemen. I will have the opportunity to serve you and meet you. And you know what makes it more humbling, Carmen?
What's that?
Is that the town supervisor, Jeff Leanhout, a guy who's beyond busy, running a phenomenal town with great people, is taking time out of his day to sponsor this so that his people can get to know their next county clerk.
Now, Peter, I want to know if you have my favorite flavor out there this afternoon.
What is it?
The Democrat Double Dip.
Ooh, what is that? What would it make up in flavor? Is it like brown and a little mushy?
No, never mind.
Carmen, are we going to have that flavor?
I thought this was a family show, Mr. Savage.
The double dip, like
double voting?
Yeah, like a hand in the till. But anyway, my favorite flavor.
Anyway, we're going to have a bunch of ice cream. We're expecting a great crowd. It is rain or shine. We're under the pavilion, and it is so hot. There is nobody in the town of Penfield or the surrounding area that would not come for some free ice cream. It's near the Little League fields, and kids are going to be coming off a hot field playing Little League baseball. And Peter, they're going to be there sharing some ice cream with Mom and Dad and you.
Beautiful, beautiful. I look forward to serving each and every single one of them. Carmen, just for just making sure that we have full transparency, and no ARPA funds have been used to support this ice cream social, correct?
Absolutely not one penny of ARPA funds have been used to support the ice cream social or any other Peter Vasquez for Monroe County Clerk campaign activity.
I just wanted to make sure that we all knew that. And of course, we'll make sure that every check is accounted for and properly deposited without duplication.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing everyone tonight. Look forward to seeing you. And, I may have 2 ice cream cones, just saying.
Oh man, you're gonna mess up that little trim you got on the figure.
Okay, see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Carmen. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you want to know, Peter for countyclerk.com. Pero mira, nunca te olvide that first and foremost, you have to be a leader. And guess what? That, ladies and gentlemen, is a choice. So say it with me. Don't forget it. Leadership is the beacon that guides me, for it's through selfless service that I illuminate the way for others to find their freedom. And mira, advertise here on the Next Step Show. Why? Because it matters. Y nunca te olvide, aquí la voz de libertad en WYSL, the Next Step Show con tu conservative New Yorker, siempre te amamos.
Quiero amarte para siempre, pero tú no me respondes. Soy cara de niño con alma de hombre.